All right,
Hey everybody, this is me, Kadin.
hey, you told me I could talk first.
Yeah.
We decided that we don't care about making videos that'll be popular, so we're going to draw each other's OCs for fun.
Yeah. I mean, we do care about making videos that are fun, so I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what you came up with.
Yeah, so you have one OC that I'm aware of. You don't make nearly enough of them.
Oh, I am so intrigued by what you're doing.
But I'm a huge fan of her. It's Loogie, the girl with a loogie for a hair.
Yeah, it's not actually a Loogie, but I feel like I should clarify that because so many people, when I tell them like about this character and then like give them her name, they wince. Like, ew, that's gross. I like that reaction. It's kind of what I'm going for. But I don't want it to actually be that gross.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a slimy, a slime type hair.
Yeah. Slime girls are in, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I created Loogie in a game of Mutants and Mastermind. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I've never heard of that. What you just pull things out that I've never heard of.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Explain to me what it is.
I'm into tabletop RPGs, as you know, and there are ones that are not called Dungeons and Dragons.
What?
One of them.
No, that's the only one.
Yeah, people would think so. One of them is a system that lets you create your own superheroes. And like within the past year or so, a friend of mine ran a game and they told us that it was going to be like a post-apocalyptic setting, and I made Loogie. And
awesome.
The Loogie in the game was just, all of her was stretchy, but she did use her hair, and like she could like split her hair up into like 5 different tendrils at a time to like stretch around and grapple people.
Oh, okay.
But that was the seed that eventually became this character. I definitely workshopped it some more because, RPG systems aren't super great for creating like a character that works within a story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a traditional story structure when you're playing an RPG.
Yeah, they gotta worry about balance and stuff, and I think cool powers should not be concerned with that. And I kind of I had an idea. I'm like, okay, I want her to basically be able to do everything Green Lantern can do, but instead of a power ring, she uses her hair.
Oh, Green Lantern. He seems pretty overpowered in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean,
I've only ever seen the bad Green Lantern live action movie. That's where I got
all of your knowledge
from. Yeah.
That ring, I think, is more powerful than what the comics can do, which is kind of dumb of the movie, in my opinion, because they make like a small sun and like it has the gravity of a sun.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you could basically beat anybody.
Yeah, you can do anything so long as it's not yellow.
Yeah. I'm really digging what you're doing with this. I'm glad you did a whole background. I did too. I didn't do it as detailed as yours. Like, you actually drew a whole car.
Trust, like, I mean, the car was essential. I took this all from reference, by the way. Like, this is, I didn't trace, obviously, but it's just like, it's straight up the same pose, it's the same car, the same background as the reference.
There's no shame in that. Oh man, what did you use for the sand just then?
It's a brush. There's tons of custom brushes for artificial and natural
Are you
textures.
In Clip Studio right now?
Yeah, Clip Studio brushes.
Did you download that brush?
It comes with a few decent defaults, but I think I downloaded a lot of them. Like,
I'm gonna need to get that from you, because if I actually make a comic book with Loogie in it, I need that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got like 3 or 4 gravel patterns. I've got a couple dust patterns, which I put on the car. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff.
Speaking of which, me and Ben sometimes talk about making comics.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot, actually, which is a shame because we don't actually have any comics to show for it right now.
I mean, we've put in a lot of work, but we don't have anything to show.
I put out a couple pages on my Twitter recently. You should follow that. 1000 Stupid Words on Twitter.
Oh, did you upload mod?
No, but I've got the Delta Room one, and I've got that Ace Attorney Death Note one. I just made some stuff.
I gotta explain, because I can't just assume that like this is just a conversation between me and you. There are people listening, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Mod is a comic idea from Ben's that I think is exceptionally compelling. Do you mind if I pitch it real quick?
Go ahead and pitch it. Let's see if we can get any sort of reaction from our very limited viewer base.
Well, my favorite thing about it, I think, is the fact that it fits into 2 sentences. A little girl who grew up watching a cartoon show that is basically Mega Man, where the hero defeats the villains and then takes an upgrade part from them and then adds it to his body. And she's so inspired by this that she decides she wants to be just like her hero, and so she becomes a serial killer and kills people and takes part of them and adds it to her own body.
That's exactly the premise. And
so the main character is kind of a bad person, which is always fun to read. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So
I love kids who are just the worst kinds of people and don't know it. Yeah. This is a very self-indulgent episode that we're making.
Hey, it's
just
laid
all about
back.
us.
Me and you did an art swap, more or less. People like those.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I'm loving this, dude.
Plus, it's fun to draw like slime and stuff. You get to work with a different, very strong values and colors to.
Yeah, I like drawing the
that you
shapes.
don't typically do.
Because I try not to. It's odd, but you can't turn too fast when you're drawing slimy bulges. So you have to get just the perfect little swoop for each of the
if you go back
things.
through my video slowly, you'll see that I drew each little droplet bit a couple times to get it to look right.
Yeah, it's fun. People seem to like her. Like I'm surprised.
Yeah, it's really fun to draw. It's a really great character design. I drew it once before. I'll pop that up on screen, but yeah, it's a great character design.
I was going to mention that I drew Loogie, and it was just a rough sketch, and she was doing like a karate kick or something. And before I could even draw her a second time to like refine her design, Ben was like, "Here, I drew her." Because Ben is a bro like that, and he loves OCs. I really like this character you made. I already drew fan art of her.
Oh, that's 100% true. None of that was just
it was like the next day.
I'm gonna. Oh, it's just because you're my friend. I'm gonna draw this. No, it was a good design.
I secretly suspect you're trying to encourage me to draw my own OCs, because like you said at the top of this video, I have one.
I'm blatantly encouraging you to draw your own OCs. When have I ever told you to not draw an OC?
That's what I'm saying. I think you're like, you want to get me away from drawing fan art. You want me to draw my own characters. And it's kind of fun. Like, because as you're drawing, you're coming up with like all these headcanons. And like their personalities kind of developing in your head. It's a great meditative process of working on a character that you don't get except outside of drawing them.
Yeah, I love making characters. Like the term OC always got me kind of. I always felt kind of weird about it because like when people say, "Oh, this is my OC," as if one was impressive. When I look back, and even as a kid, I had dozens and dozens of characters I had made. It's like, you have an OC?
That's
you don't
not an
have,
exaggeration.
Like,
I want to challenge Ben to throw up every
hundreds?
like rough sketch that they've shown me on screen.
I mean, I've literally been creating OC since I was 6, so I'll just pop up a bunch of sketches of them. Obviously, a lot are less refined than others, but
I had one OC in middle school. His name was Ted, and he was a man from the army. And like in the first issue, he gets left behind, so he's basically stranded. And everything else is just him getting into like wacky hijinks, like fighting aliens and stuff.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, he was a stick figure though.
Oh.
So he wasn't super well designed. It was literally a stick figure that wore an army helmet.
That could probably use a bit of polishing up, I think.
Yeah, I was lazy back then. He was popular though. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like there was this one period where everybody's like sitting on the bleachers in school, and they were all passing around my comic books, which were both 8x11 comics.
Yeah, schoolyard popularity. That's that's such a good feeling.
It was pretty cool. I was like, wow, this is nice. They all think this is funny. And then eventually I gave it up, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make comics 20 years from now.
Let's just incubate on that for a while. Yeah, we were talking a few years ago. I had no clue that you were an artist, and then you just pop up with all this amazing art, and I'm just like, ugh.
Well, I really wasn't. I was just like most people, I dabbled here and there. Like I think I told you this already, but I had like two sketchbooks that I would randomly draw a few pages in once every 3 or 4 months. And then when I decided to take this seriously, like a couple years ago, I was like, I'm going to fill every page of those 2 sketchbooks. And then once I do that, I'm going to invest in some equipment, and I'm going to actually like prove to myself that I'm dedicated to get into this. And that's what I did. I filled them up, and then I put them away. And I never want to look at them again because everything inside them is terrible. But here we are, 2 years later.
Man. All right. Well, I think that's a good transition point. We've been talking after this picture for a while now. So, and you always sketch so light. It's hard for me to tell.
I drew in like perspective lines. I really didn't need to in hindsight because the pose I went with is straight on.
Oh yeah, I saw you mention this. You always have a tendency to want to attempt to spoil me in some way or another. You did mention the Gynex pose.
Yeah, I didn't think that was so much a spoiler as like a little morsel for you to be intrigued.
That's fine.
Yeah, we should mention who this OC is. Cash, one of Ben's OCs, one of Ben's many OCs, probably the one that you draw the most often, at least in recent years.
Yeah, definitely. I whenever I want to default, whenever it's just like I'm gonna draw for fun, that's who I go with.
And she's got a fun design. Don't get attached to that.
I love the huge cape. What? No, come on.
It goes away. I don't know if you would have liked it because it was going to basically be complete rip from Gurren Lagann. That's why I ditched it. I'm like, I'm not going to I know Ben's never seen Gurren Lagann, so I'm not going to include elements from it.
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes and I really need to get back to it because everyone says it's the thing I'd like.
I eventually ditched the cape and I gave her a jetpack, and that's because there's not a lot like it written down in concrete or in ink, I should say, for like Cash, but I do believe she's like a tech hero. Like she uses much. Gadgets.
I did make like a 2-page comic where that's kind of her one thing that she reveals as a power is a grappling hook. I don't really have anything defined for her. She's just fun to draw.
The hair. The hair is the only thing that's stayed.
Yeah, she's got very squared off hair everywhere.
Yeah, I tried to play with that a little bit later on.
Yeah, I'm always messing with it. Like sometimes I make it a bit pointier, sometimes I make it a bit rounder, but she looks very buff in this. Like her leg strength is insane.
Yeah, she's a little taller than what you probably would draw her.
Like I'm kind of like I'm not saying too much of interest because I'm just watching this happen. I love seeing people draw Cash.
You should, because we have to entertain people. So tell us more about Cash.
Let's talk about how I came to design her, because I think it was a very fun process.
Okay.
I was trying to design more characters, and so I literally made a list of every single feature that I liked on different characters, and I took all of my favorites of this list of favorites and mushed them together, and that is exactly how Cash came about. I refined her a decent bit later on, but that's exactly how she came about, is just take this list, mash everything together, there you go. That's your favorite character.
Yeah, she can't really be beaten. I mean, it's all your favorite things in one character. That's why she's in the #1 spot for so long.
Pretty much. I could always go through that list again and be like, oh, well, I like the squared off bangs, but let's try a different hairstyle that I really like and make a list of a whole bunch of other features to mush together. But I haven't done that yet.
To anybody who hasn't seen a bunch of art of Cash, she has shark teeth. That's another defining trait.
Yeah.
I really wanted to give her an expression that showed the shark teeth, but I feel like you've done that enough, so I kept her serious and like her head slightly down with a frown. But if I was to draw an alternate version of this, her head would be tilted back, and she'd have that like confident anime smirk.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of think she has a little too many like facial features for her own good. She's got like the kind of under eyelashes. She's got freckles in a lot of versions. She's got the shark fangs. So
I didn't draw the freckles.
A lot of people just drop one or two without noticing it, and I never complain because it's just like it's a lot there. It's probably like, from a design perspective, I wouldn't recommend putting that much junk on the face, but
junk on the face. I noticed that you gave her like 2 side pockets on her legs. I decided to go with just one and then made some straps just to give her design some like asymmetry.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I haven't decided an official outfit for her either. I like dressing her up in different ways.
She seems to be wearing cargo pants quite a bit.
Yeah, I do like bulky, baggy pants. Oh man, look at all this. I love the color scheme. It's so blue.
Man, I really overthunk the coloring of this piece. I think I could do it again and I would do it better. I was concentrating way too hard on like light sources and like how it would work on the form instead of just like feeling it and thinking like, hey, what would actually look good? Coloring comics is kind of strange because I do a bit of both with painting and coloring comics. They are two different things completely almost. Like light behaves the same, but you can't overdo it with comics. It has to be subtle.
Yeah, it's interesting how comics work, and particularly American color comics. Like I don't know much about that, but yeah, like the shadows having such deep blacks and having to work your color scheme around that is a very interesting challenge, I would imagine.
Yeah, like it's really obvious with the face. If you went in and like you drew every plane of the human head, it would be too busy very fast. Especially with like an anime looking face the way I've drawn here.
Yeah, the faces are very simplified.
In my head, she just like flew down onto an alien world and she's about to kick some butt.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh man, I love how shiny it all is. I love shiny things, so that works great.
I'll send you the final version.
Man, that is awesome.
Is there anything you're going to take from this? You keep refining your design.
You should draw Cash more.
I think she looks really good with a headband. Like it kind of like really lets you know that this is a character that kicks butt. Like she fights things. Characters that wear headbands just typically do that.
That's true, but she's also a big dork. She's very incompetent in a lot of ways.
Yeah, the headband also just came about because of like we said, this is the Gynax pose, and Gunbuster I think is the first anime to do it. John can scream if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you just hear him screaming from the other room.
Well, actually, the Gynax pose can be traced back to Getter Dragon in the Getter Robo G manga. You fuck!
And so she has a headband in that pose, and I copied it like 1-to-1 almost. It's not a reference I'm hiding.
No, it needs to be shouted loud and proud. This is the Gynax pose.
Exactly, because every self-respecting anime protagonist has to do it at least once, preferably 3 times.
Oh, this is awesome. I don't know how to say more words other than it's really cool and I like it a lot, and I'm gonna look at it for the next week.
That makes me happy.
So
I really liked mine. This was fun. It's like we got free commissions almost.
Yeah, pretty much. If you the audience want us to draw your OCs or anything cool, we might do it. So give us lots of comments.
Honestly, type anything down there below. Just I don't really care if it's coherent.
I'm pretty much obligated to respond to it regardless, so if you want to talk with me.
Yeah, but for real, like I really wouldn't have a problem if you're someone that has an OC, you leave a comment on our video, you'd be like the 5th person to do that ever. So I'll draw something.
The 5th person to comment, yeah.
Like the 5th, the unique person that we don't know personally.
Yeah. Yeah, and this video is going to get absolutely no views. So if you enjoy what we're doing, you better comment and give us something.
Yeah,
it's your fault that we're not more popular.
All of this is on you. Not us, not the content we're making, not our personalities, not the thumbnails we decide, not the titles. You guys, you don't show up.
Yeah, come on. We're gonna just keep negging all of our audience until we're famous.
Wait, we're gonna nag our way to the top.
All right, I think we're good though.
Yeah, we've milling now.
Yeah, we've had fun today. Thank you for joining us. If you have joined us, we really enjoy each other's OCs and our own OCs, and so we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, goodbye. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.